This is a Cincy fan talking with LP. You can catch me on Twitter. That's a Cincy fan talking. You say it like it sounds, just leave off the G. If you have ideas for the show, you can reach me at Cincy_fan talk at yahoo.com. If you have any suggestions for the show, make sure you leave them there. Who knows, you might find yourself as part of the show. Any feedback would be definitely appreciated. And also, make sure you hit the Linktree page that's on my Twitter. Make sure you click on that. You can find all the different ways to contact me there. Enjoy the show. What's going on? What's the deal, y'all? Welcome to another episode of a Cincy fan talking with LP, and this is LP. Appreciate y'all stopping past for another episode. We're gonna get into a little bit of some NFL stuff. We're gonna talk a little bit about the Bengals and some draft picks. I'll give y'all some picks on the playoffs this weekend. Hopefully, I can do a little bit better than 2-4. I don't know what happened last weekend for real. But first, we got to talk about what's going on, what happened last week with this whole Trump situation. Got to touch on that because, of course, we don't really stick to sports with this whole thing. So we got to touch on that. Of course, make sure you click on the link tree, check all that out and all that good stuff. But it's getting crazy out here. But if you ask us, it's always been crazy out here. And I feel like personally that America is waking up from like a 5-year coma out here. That's what it feels like. It feels like America is waking up after 5 years and realizing exactly how crazy our government, our Republican-led government is and has been. And what's amazing to me is how America is consistently on the wrong side of history and then wakes up and is absolutely surprised at what's happening. Like that's always amazing to me that America is surprised, missing warning signs and not seeing what's happening. It's crazy. We could run through the list of the warning signs. We could run through everything that we saw since, I don't know, 2015. Like we could break it all down, but you know it all already. You've seen it ever since Trump walked down the escalator. You saw this whole thing coming like a freight train. Like if you black or brown, you've been offended by Trump several times, and you've been told to ignore it. That's how Trump is. I mean, if you're a female, you've been disrespected by the things that Trump did or said. You saw the Access Hollywood tape. I mean, there's so many instances that we've seen. But now that American democracy has been affected, now it's on. now history is being made. And that's crazy. Like when I think historical, like I don't think stuff like this. I think stuff like this lives in infamy. Like when I think September 11th, I don't think historical. I think tragic. Like I don't think of this as historical. I think of this as tragic. I think of this as infamous. I don't lump this with like a historical event. Like I don't. You can kind of miss me with that. Like I get that it's historical. This would be in a history book. Like this is a historical fact. I get that, but no, like this is in a different realm of history. So I mean, but for me, This is just another case of America being late on being on the right side of history. This is up there with America not seeing the effects of segregation. This is up there with America not seeing what happens with civil rights and not understanding what happens with Jim Crow. This is what happens when America messes up education and busing. Like they don't get it, even though all of the signs are there. Every single sign is there. And America decides to go like, look, forget that. Because we know what we know right now at this second. And we don't care about necessarily being right. We care about what we have right now. And right now is good enough for us. This is basically 2015 through, I don't know, last week. That's basically what it was. Because no matter what happened, there was always an excuse to let Trump and the Republican Party keep doing what they were doing. There was always an excuse. That's why I'm still kind of waiting to see what happens, because there's always an out for Trump. There's always an excuse for Trump. Even now, when see, you can kind of see what's going on, and you can kind of see his punishment on the horizon. Like you can see impeachment on the horizon. You can still see people in his camp going like, no, maybe it's not the right time to do this. No, there should be unity right now. What about unity before? Where was that? Unity wasn't important until it's time to impeach somebody. Like it really doesn't make sense. We make all of these excuses just to keep one party in power. And when I say it doesn't make sense, I mean it makes perfect sense, because being black in America, you see this happen. You see this happen a lot. To keep one party in power, the other party will do whatever it takes. And we've seen this play out. I mean, just being honest, we've seen the power structure do whatever it takes to stay in charge. We've seen slavery, we've seen segregation, we've seen Jim Crow, we've seen I mean we've seen stuff like this happen now. I mean, whatever it takes for the powers that be to stay in power, they will do. So we're always waiting for the other shoe to drop. And it's sad to say in America, but that's kind of how it is. So until Trump and the people surrounding Trump actually get a punishment that's just, we're still kind of waiting, because the people that deserve punishment always kind of sort of slip out of it. They never necessarily get what they deserve. Meanwhile, the people that are kind of out in the field, they always kind of take those slings and arrows. They're the ones that they take the bullets, they take the punishments, but they insulate the people that's above them. And we're concerned that that's what we're going to see, because that's what we always see. I mean, it's the American way. That's kind of how things go around here in America. So we're watching, and honestly, we expect things to be a little bit different, because unlike normal circumstances, we're not the party that's injured. And usually when we're not the party that's injured, justice is served. And that's the sad thing, because in the summer when all of this stuff was happening, I mean, we were shutting stuff down. I mean, there were boycotts, and you could see all of the token respect being paid, but there was no real change. Like, when I look back on the summer, I can honestly say, I saw some blacked out symbols on Twitter. I think Uncle Ben changed his symbol. I think Aunt Jemima changed her symbol. I don't think we can call a master bedroom a master bedroom anymore. That's it's awesome. I'm proud of that. Yay, yay, housing industry, I guess. But I mean, we wanted real change, but the real change comes from what's happening right now. Like, this is the real change that we wanted. And apparently, real change doesn't necessarily happen until angry Republican white folks rise up and feel cheated about an election that they obviously lost, and decide to take over an entire Capitol building and fail. And then real change happens. And we just kind of throw up our hands like, where was all of this help when we were shouting at the top of our lungs? I mean, we're out here getting shot in the streets. You know, we're getting our necks stepped on out here. I mean, they're out here rioting over nothing. Absolutely, positively nothing. They had no reason to be down there. Like, what was their purpose? They had no purpose. I mean, if you ask them, I mean, let's go, let's go. I mean, but when you really think about it, Trump pumped them all up and gassed their head up to get them to do his bidding, and it was for nothing. Like, he lost, and he just tried to stay in power. You see this in dictatorships. That's where you see this. I mean, and like I said, all of the signs were there. This man was putting out propaganda saying that he wanted to stay as president way past 2024, way past 2028. Like, he was putting this out there. So it's not surprising. All the signs were there. A lot of people just chose to ignore them until it was brought to their front doorstep. And now that it's here, a lot of people are feigning surprise. Oh my goodness, I can't believe this is happening. Sure, you can. And the real thing that's upsetting is that people lost their lives from this. I mean, you had Capitol Police down there losing their lives. And for what? It's it's really sad when you think of it in that standpoint. Because you had people trying to protect the Capitol and they lost their lives. And you had Trump just kind of watching. And there should be repercussions for that. I mean, there really should be. And I hear a lot of people saying, well, we probably won't see him running for office again. We've said that so many times. We said that after the Access Hollywood tapes. We said that after so many of the dumb things that he said. Yet he's still here. So, what I would say is, if you really don't want to run for office again, pressure needs to be put on to actually go through impeachment, because really that's the only way that he's not going to be running again. I mean, even then, I believe he can, but he needs to be actually impeached and convicted by Senate. So that's going to have to happen. Either way, it was a really dark day in America. I mean, seeing that, it was really messed up. I mean, we were kind of watching like, yikes, like, whoa. But I mean, it's messed up to see that in America. Like, I mean, I look at American democracy like, I mean, it's really a load of crap. But I mean, to see a group of people that had no business down there anyway, because you're fighting over some nonsense, to see them over there trying to take over the state capital, the nation's capital, it was crazy. So hopefully we see some movement on that because I don't really see how anybody could stand for that. Um, as far as my Buckeyes and in sports news, they they took the L. Um, they took the big L. Um, I can't sit up here and make an excuse for it. They ran up against a better team, and they took the L. It had nothing to do with them having lost people due to COVID. I think if they were fully stocked up, they would have took an L, probably about the same amount of points. I mean, just being totally honest. Um, maybe they had one call that didn't go their way. If that call that went their way, they still would have took the L by the same amount of points. I mean, there's not much you can do where you. I mean, the defense just wasn't the defense that we're used to seeing from Ohio State. I mean, if we're being completely honest, Ohio State's defense wasn't what it normally is. And that's no slight to Ohio State. I mean, I guess it is a slight to Ohio State, but their defense is normally lights out. And this year, they just didn't play that Ohio State brand defense. I thought it was a really solid defense. I thought they played well. They just had spots where they didn't play up to the Ohio State level. And certain teams exposed it. Indiana exposed it. Big Ten teams really don't test you the way that the down south teams do. So once they step out of that Big Ten comfort zone, I knew it would be a little bit tougher. They played really well against Clemson, but that was more of they were pumped up and they were upset. So I knew they would play well against Clemson. I was a little concerned about Alabama because they have so many weapons. Everybody talks about Devontae Smith and Najee Harris, but when I was looking at their roster, they have so many weapons and they used a lot of them. And they did so many things with Devontae Smith. They moved them all over the place. They ran some they ran some awesome plays for Devontae Smith. I was just looking like, I mean, everybody knew he was getting the ball. Like the whole stadium knew he was getting the ball. All of us on Twitter knew he was getting the ball. And they just ran some exotic looks. Like they bring him all the way to the quarterback and then zigzag him out. He's all alone. I'm like, wow. I mean, Alabama was just better. I mean, there's nothing you can do about that. I don't think Ohio State had anything to hang their head down about. I mean, they just didn't. Alabama this year looked like LSU last year. They just got out on the field and they looked lights out better than everybody else. They just did. I mean, kudos to O State. They did their thing, but Alabama looked destined to win a championship this year. They just did. I didn't believe it until the game started. And until the game started, I'm like, no, we got a shot. We about to do this. The Buckeyes about to get this one. And then the game started, and I'm like, yeah, it's looking bad. But of course, Ohio State coming back next year, so nothing to worry about as far as as far as we're concerned on that. Definitely will be back. Um, I've been noticing something about what's been going on as far as a lot of different teams. I noticing like a lot of teams been talking way too much, like just talking a whole lot of trash overall. Like, and me myself, I'm not one of those guys that's like, keep your mouth shut, old school, don't say nothing. And I'm not really like that. I mean, that's not me. Um, I've always been more of don't say anything before the game to get the other team riled up. Like keep your mouth shut before the game because you don't want to give the other team bulletin board material. Like stop talking. And then once you get on the field, talk your stuff then. Like if you want to talk mess, you make a good play, talk your trash a little bit. Don't get a penalty. Talk your trash a little bit, say what you gotta say, run your play. That's been more of my speed. You know, get a little flamboyant on the field. I've been always cool with that. But off the field, no, like just chill out because you don't really need to do that. But I feel like these players just been talking way too much, like on Snapchat and in the media. And here's the thing about it, because I don't want to end up sounding like one of those old heads, like, oh well, you don't understand how it is today. Because I get how it is today. Like I understand it completely. Young boy talk your stuff. I get that. But what you're not understanding is this: you're in a position where the gap between you and another player is this small. It's very, very small. It's very little. There's not much of a difference between you and another player unless you're like otherworldly, unless you're like a LeBron James or a Kevin Durant or Devontae Smith or somebody like that. Unless you're light years better than everybody else you play, the talent gap between you and another player is very small. It's incremental. So everybody's looking for any kind of different edge that they can use to beat you. They're looking for anything. And what you're doing when you talk your stuff is you're giving them an edge. That's what you're doing. What you don't want to do is give them that edge. So keep your mouth shut. That's all I'm saying. Of course, you can back it up. Like, I get that. I'm going to talk my stuff because I can back it up. That's cool or whatever. But why would you even give somebody an extra edge? Why would you do that? You out on the court before the game start, 2 days before the game start, and you say, "Oh yeah, number 12 trash. He can't check me." What you just did to number 12 is you just made the next 2 days super easy because all he got in his brain or her brain is, "Yep, I'm about to lock you up. You're not getting points. My goal is to get buckets on you, is to score on you, is to get in the end zone on you. That's the goal. Why would you do that? What's the point in that? There is no point in giving anybody else an extra edge. None. I feel like what happened between Pittsburgh and Cleveland is exactly that. Pittsburgh might have been the better team. Juju Smith Schuster starts running off at the mouth. He's a very good player. What he's doing is unnecessary. Stop. It's not necessary because all you're doing is you're lighting a fire under that entire team. When you say stuff like the Browns is the Browns, well, they just the same team with great faces. This is a team that wants to beat you, and they just can't get over the hump. They just can't get there. It's already a playoff game. They already beat you guys to get to the playoff game. And you just gave them that little push, that extra edge to get to the top. Why do that? What's the point? There is no reason to give another team any extra edge. I know the coaches were just going nuts, like when they were talking about this by themselves, like, because in public, you're not going to say anything. You're going to say, that's our guy. We ride with him. He's confident. We feel like he feels, that whole chestnut. But in private, they're like, dude, stop. Quit. Um, Definitely not a Browns fan. But what I respect from Baker Mayfield is the fact that he came out this year like, look, I'm just about to stop talking. He's like, this year, I'm just going to let my play do the talking. I'll talk a little bit afterwards. But this year, I'm I'm just done talking because he was like, the talking is distracting me from playing. It's distracting my team from playing. So I'm just gonna stop the talking. He played a lot better this year. It takes the pressure off of you when you're not talking so much and you're doing more playing. It's a lot less to live up to, for one. And for two, you're taking pressure off of the other players on your team. And what you don't want to throw your players under the bus like that. You just don't want to do that. Now, every now and again, you have that player like Chad Ochocinco, like Chad Johnson. You have some players that's what they do. They get off on that. Like that's a rare breed right there. Like some players like they talk like that because that's how they get themselves pumped up. Like they have to talk like that because they need that added pressure. Those players are rare. They're a dime a dozen. You don't find those players every day. So when you hear like a lot of players talking like, "Well, yeah, I gotta talk like that because that's how I get myself gassed up." 9.5 times out of 10, that's a lie. That's not true. For the most part, they talking like that because they're a little bit afraid. Every now and again, you'll get a guy that talks like that because that's just how he talk. Like that's him, 100%. That's her, 100%. That's what they do, and you'll know that person as soon as they get out on the court. Like I feel like Reggie Miller was like that too. He like they just talk. They talk from the minute they get out on the court. They would just be like, "Look, stop me. If you can, cool. If you can't, I'm gonna let you know about it." But for the most part, just play your game. If you win, and I've always been like this. If you win and you talking, hey, you won. And if you don't like what they saying, you should have won. um, I would personally tell my players like, look, keep your mouth shut a little bit because you got to see these people again. So don't talk too much. You won. Let them know they did a good job because you don't want to gas them up when you see them again. But these guys got to stop talking so much. That's just how I feel about it. You got a Cincy fan talking with an LP. We're gonna be right back. Check you in a second. And we are back. You got a Cincy fan talking with LP, and this is LP. And we got the Bengals picking fifth in the draft this year. Got them picking fifth. All signs point to them picking an offensive tackle or guard, probably somebody on the offensive line. And I get that. We all been screaming for that. Uh, so if they do, definitely won't be mad at that. After what we saw on Monday, if they went wide receiver, would you be mad? If Devontae Smith fell to fifth, would you be mad if the Bengals picked him? Let me know on Twitter how you feel about that. Check me out on there. Let me know how you feel about that. Me personally, I wouldn't be upset at all if, and only if, two things happen. One, if the tackle from Oregon was already gone, if he's not there, because what I don't want is the Bengals to pick their second best choice at the fifth spot. That would make absolutely no sense to me. Like, if you're going with your second best offensive line choice for your number five, nah, why do that? That wouldn't make sense to me. That would be the first thing. The second thing, if you've already addressed the offensive line in free agency, I would actually like them to do that more. That way, you're not worried about developing a rookie to try to protect Joe Burrow. You're getting somebody that's tried and true. You're getting somebody that's tested. So that way, you can go ahead and splurge on that number 5 pick. You can do that. And you're not worrying about, oh, is this rookie offensive tackle, is this what we need? Like, is this somebody that can actually do the job? Because, I mean, no matter how good the person is in college, they coming up and they still a rookie. I mean, that's the truth. They still a rookie. You get yourself somebody off the free agent market and not like a fifth or sixth, not like somebody that's like a fifth or sixth like round pick or somebody like that. You don't want to get somebody like that. You want to get somebody like a day one free agency signing. You want to get somebody solid. Basically, you want to get somebody that you're going to pay a lot of money for. Real talk. You want to invest in the offensive line. I mean, let's be honest here. You build from the inside out when you're talking building a football team. That's how you build a solid football team. If you don't believe me, look at your dynasties. Look at the dynasties in the NFL. I'm not talking about the teams that won one championship. I'm not talking about them. I'm not even talking about the ones that won, like, I don't know, 2 in 5 years. I'm talking about the ones that took 3 and 4. I'm talking about the ones that took 4 and 6. Look at a team like the San Francisco 49ers in the 80s. Look at the Dallas Cowboys in the 90s. Look at the Pittsburgh Steelers in the 70s. Look at these teams. You'll notice one thing: awesome offensive line play. Look at those offensive lines. You will see Hall of Famers on those offensive lines. Guaranteed. Go look them up. Look up these offensive lines. You will see absolute trucks on those offensive lines. It is real. That's how you build a team. You build a team from the inside out. You build the offensive line up. From there, you get really solid pieces on the outside. But those outside pieces don't move without the inside. It just doesn't work. I mean, we saw that this year. You will see that with every single team. You need a solid offensive line in order for stuff to work in the NFL. So, you got to address that first. If that gets addressed, boom, get a wide receiver. If it doesn't get addressed, don't get a wide receiver. I mean, we saw what happens when you spend your first round draft pick on a wide receiver and you think you address the offensive line position in the second round. We saw what happens. Didn't work. So that's pretty much my piece on that. I would definitely be cool with them. I mean, not even Devontae Smith. Let's say Jamar Chase falls to them. He would work too. However, if the offensive line isn't settled, you got to fix that first. I mean, I'm sure Joe Burrow's letting them know, like, look, you got to give me the time to work. I mean, I'm sure I'm giving the Bengals the benefit of the doubt here. I'm sure they understand that after this year, you got to protect the franchise. You do. I'm sure they're not worried about us screaming our heads off as fans. I think that they understand that they have to protect their investment. I think they get that. I don't think that they think it's about us being upset if he gets hurt again. I think that they understand that they can't afford to have their franchise player hurt again. It just can't happen. They can't afford that. So I feel like they'll do the right thing just based on that part. Um, LP went 2 and 4 on his picks last weekend in a stunning turn of events. A couple of these, I just plain out whiffed on. Definitely didn't see the Rams taking the dub. Um, I don't think too many people did. There were a couple of games I saw as toss ups. Um, Bills and Ravens. Sorry about that. No, Bills and Colts. I went back and forth on that for a while before I ended up taking the Colts. Ravens and Titans. I went back and forth on that one for a long time too before I ended up taking the Titans. But I feel good about all four of these right here. Um, Saturday, I got the Packers over the Rams, and I got the Ravens over the Bills. I feel like at some point, Allen's going to regress for the Bills, and I feel like the Ravens, they're kind of cooking right now. I feel like if they could get over the Titans hump, I feel like they'll get they'll get to the AFC Championship game. I wasn't sure if they could get over the hump, over the Titans hump. That's why I didn't pick them last week. But now that they got over that Titans hump, I think they'll be smooth sailing until they get to the AFC Championship game. So I got them winning, and nobody's stopping Aaron Rodgers for a while. Like, you bet against Aaron Rodgers, you're a fool right now. So I got the Packers over the Rams. Sunday, got the Chiefs over the Browns, and I got the Saints over the Bucks. The Browns gonna have themselves a tough one. I really think the Browns have a chance to win this one. They got to keep Mahomes off the field. They have the tools to keep Mahomes off the field, and I don't think the Chiefs' defense is that good. I just think the Chiefs' offense is way better than the Browns' defense. I think that's where the game's going to get won, and I feel like the Chiefs are going to win a game that's going to be closer than a lot of people think it's going to be. And then I got the Saints over the Bucks. The Bucks, they've only won one game against a playoff team in the regular season, just the one. So I don't really see that changing against the Saints. So I got the Saints over the Bucks, and we'll see if I can do a little bit better because last week was trash. Hopefully I don't go 0-4 in this piece. We'll see how it go. Let me know how your picks go. Let me know who you think will win. Let me know who you. Let me know if you think my picks trash or not. Hit me up on Twitter. Let me know what you think. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and head out. You got a Cincy fan talking with LP. I'm gonna check you out next week. And as always, life is good. Peace out. If you're not ready for the conversation to end, I'm not either. Make sure to catch me on Twitter. That's the Cincy fan talking. Leave off the G at the end of it, and we can keep the conversation going. Also, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button so you can catch the next episodes. The episodes will drop every Tuesday. If there's a change in that, I'll make sure to let you know. Appreciate the support. As always, life is good.